Morning, my friends. Today is day 35 of home build. Step away from them sawing down there. We had a few days off because, well, the cement guys poured the footers and had to let them cure. He said 5 days, ended up being 7 because of weekends. But they're putting up walls. They were here a couple days ago, but I didn't record that because all they did is they took the forms and leaned them up against the banks. Kind of boring. But they did stake out where the house walls are going to be, and I used that opportunity to kind of plan where my windows in the basement are going to go. Because I have windows, but I don't have them marked. Let's take a look at where they're at. So here we are, next day. The guys were here this morning putting up more walling for me. They continued on. Where they left off yesterday was just before this outrigger wall. They had this half framed, but they got the outrigger wall. You can see it came out 5 feet. Obviously they're gonna have to put a cap on the back somewhere. Continued down to the corner, started going up the side. They also started this middle section here. This is going to be the bracing wall, so it's an 8-inch cement wall as well. There'll be a door down there. We'll go down the bottom and look at where the door is going to be that separates the garage portion of my basement from the, don't want to say living space, but I don't know what I'm going to do over there. I got some ideas, but we probably put a mini split for air conditioning over there. We might someday finish it out, but separate the garage from the rest. There'll be a door down here. But this wall is going to be, all the walls 10 foot tall. It's going to go across. There's going to be a 12-inch I-beam pocket in the middle of this wall so that we have a clear span garage. I did find one problem from the excavation guys I'll have to deal with. But you can see these panels are 8-foot tall panels. They put a corner. It's the only piece that's up on top of the 8-foot panels. But this is how tall my walls are going to be. That's a little 2-foot panel on top of the 8-foot to give me the 10-foot height. Kind of gives you an idea as to how much backfill they're going to have to add down here to make the house. The goal is to make the house ground level more level with the back of the house. I want on the doors on the back no more than 2 steps. So talking to the excavation guy, he's going to fill in using all this dirt they've been saving over there. This kind of slopes down. He's going to fill this in, make it wash left and right so any water comes will run away from the basement, but then also raise it up so that I have no more than 2 steps on the doors of the back of the house. Yes, we are going to, when the wall is done, we are going to waterproof the wall. Yes, there is going to be French drain down there with gravel, clean base, but I also want to have the ground slope away from the house. Just 3 levels of protection. And they brought another trailer of pieces parts. This looks like all of the smaller ones. We got a lot of corner bracing. These panels are all aluminum, so they're not super duper heavy. But they got a whole bunch of just odds and ends pieces parts. Looks like Lego kits. I'm not sure what pieces parts go where, but I guess this is the adult version of Legos. Oh, hey, I guess even if you want some weird angles, some of them have hinges. Okay. This guy's got all kinds of stuff. This was the first trailer. He brought it in twice. A bunch of panels, unloaded them, brought in again a bunch of panels, but they were all these 4-foot by 8-foot panels, or 3-foot by 8-foot. I don't know how big these panels are. So one of the things that's kind of cool is how they wrapped all this. Right, they did all this wrapping. They have a electronic, it's a Milwaukee something or other, but it puts it on there and has a spool of wire on it, and they just put it on there and pull the trigger. It ties it up, pulls it tight, and I mean, put these ties. They didn't put them every one. They put them every other one, but puts these ties on in about half a second. It's really cool. And then when they're putting the panels together, they put several of these braces in here, I guess to hold these panels together. But when the cement's poured, I imagine these are all going to be buried in the wall. Now see, there's a whole bunch here. Usually they just have one. See, if I come over here and look, see, there's just one. There's one. one up there. Everywhere they put one of these pins through to lock it in, they put one brace. So, oh hey, here's one of the short pieces. Okay, like I said, adult version of Legos. But yeah, they put one in there, and then they use these little guys to pound them in, keep these together so that when they pour the cement, everything stays. I don't know what happens with these when they take the wall frames down, right? The cement ends here. So is he going to cut these off? Does he leave them so I have something to anchor to? I'm not sure what happens to these pieces at the end of the process. We'll see as we go. We see starting to look like a basement, kind of get a little feel. This wall right in the middle is where there's going to be a 2x8, 10-foot tall 2x8 wall framed up that will be the support for the marriage wall going down the middle. And that gives you an idea. So if we go from the middle, go over 4 inches, gives you an idea of these are going to be, it's 15 feet from the middle of the middle wall to the outer edge. That's an 8-inch wall, so 8 inches minus 4 inches, so it'll be a 14-foot deep room over here. Bang. That was not my dog, even though she does cause problems. It's just windy up here today. So as you stand at the front of the house, ground level, looking, this is going to be the garage portion. Going to put a 12-foot door wide on this side for my truck to back in. As a dually, it is really wide. On this side, we're going to put a 10-foot door for my wife's car, standard garage door. So just give us room to pull a big truck in versus a regular car. Now what's going to happen is I'm going to have some support posts over here for a deck. This front post is going to line up with this wall, and then I come over 16 feet to the next support post, and we'll see those as the construction goes, but I have to plan frame outs for where the garage doors go. These two posts are drains are 15 foot, so go over 1 foot and that's where the next post is going to be. We'll center one garage door, the 12 foot, over here on the wider side. Now since we lose a foot here, this side's 14 foot wide, so we'll center a 10-foot door on the 14-foot side, and we'll center a 12-foot door on a 16-foot side. Now here's the problem I ran into that I discovered after the fact. This drain right here, perfect. This is going to be just a floor drain. It's going to be sloped down just a little bit. This will let rainwater, snow, whatever, melt and run into the drain. But again, these will be drain the hot water heater, wash my hands after I'm working on the truck or something. This is supposed to be a sink drain. I'm going to need some really, really big countertops because this is the inside of the wall, so my countertops go from there over. That drain needs extended back in here somewhere. So thankfully this is just gravel, which they buried it in. I'll have to see if maybe get a sledgehammer and beat on all this overspill. This is stuff that they just, whenever the cement was being poured for the footers, as they were leveling everything out, they just had extra here, so they slopped it out. And of all the places to slop it out, right where I need to extend my drain. Mika, hey, that's not your glove. Someone's not going to be happy you're eating their glove. Drop it. Hey. Drop it. Okay, good girl. Oh, good girl. But yeah, so of all the places, so this is not thick, this is not supporting, this is just the stuff they drug off as they were making everything level. Sledgehammer, I could probably knock this out, pull this drain back to somewhere around here, get it to where it'll be under the countertop. But that's the first problem I've run into on this house build, and that's just where I wasn't paying attention, the excavator guys weren't paying attention, I don't know. These 3 drains in the basement were added kind of ad hoc. They were something, as things are being dug up, it's like, oh, that would be a good idea, let's do it. But yeah, so now, back in this corner, you'll see the orange paint. That's where I'm going to have two 2-inch conduits, one above the other. That's where water is going to come in. My well folks wanted 2 conduits because they said as soon as you only put 1, you're going to find out you want a second. So the second one, whichever one we don't use, is just going to be stuffed full of steel wool and spray foam or something. I don't know, but we'll only use 1. The other's there just for future. Back in this corner is where I plan on putting the pressure tank for the well, little water softener, and then the hot water heater. That'll all have to be planned in eventually. I'm probably going to build a frame to raise those up off ground level. But even with that, my garage is plenty deep to have them sitting back here, and my truck can sit up front without hitting the water area. This is pretty cool, seeing what the house is going to look like down here. No rebar right here in the middle. This is where the door is going to be to go from the garage side to the other side. We're going to have the door, it's going to swing against that wall, so it's going to be about a foot away from this wall, and it's going to swing in. So as you leave the garage, the door swings in. That way we don't have to worry about car doors and banging the garage door into cars and denting them up. So some of the stuff we're going to have to figure out kind of on the fly as we're doing this, and I'm sure it's windy. Someday I need to find my microphone that has a little windbreak thing on it, is where are we going to put our windows? The front of the house, when you look at it, I'm going to have a deck that comes out here 10 feet. There's going to be a post at 48 foot. So where this post is, straight back to the house, from that post to the wall, that's where I want to center that sliding glass door. Now if we go to the left of this post up to the wall, I want to center 4 windows down here. Now I told the cement guy the rough out dimensions of the windows. We just ordered extra windows with the house, got the idea from north of 44. Thank you, sir, saved me some money. But ordered extra windows, got the rough out dimensions, and I kind of played around with, you see the rebar, the small pieces laying on the ground, what it would look like. We decided to center the windows instead of trying to make the windows look exactly like what the house is going to be, because I don't think we'll get it exactly right ever. So I think if we put the 4 windows centered on the bottom floor, they don't have to match the top floor perfectly, because they'll be 2 butted up together, 2 butted up together. And I was going to try that eventually, but then also the concrete guys are telling me if I space the windows out like this, now I get more support because I'll have a nice wide 4 foot chunks of cement. Right, these windows are only, the holes for the windows are going to be like 40 inches wide. So all the cement's 4,000 psi for the walls, but I'll get better support is what he told me. Instead of having an 80-inch hole that is framed in, I'll have a 40-inch hole, blob of cement, 40-inch hole, blob of cement. So makes sense to me. We'll see how that pans out, but this is coming along. Imagine we walk over here, open the garage door, or the door to the garage, close it behind us. Wife's car will be here. I'll be able to walk back to countertops, go around to my truck. All of our water softeners and filters and pressure tank and all that will be back here in the corner out of the way. Water will come in from over there. The well is back that way about 75-80 feet. This is all panning out exactly like I had hoped. Till next time.